Join us on Geek Blood, the show you can't ignore. Ray and Kevin diving deep into all things galore. Comic book, movie, sci-fi, and action thrill. Reviewing new TV shows, we keep it real, real. Reminiscing the attitude era, wrestling at its peak. Nostalgia from the 80s and 90s, memories we seek. Pineapples for our rings, a unique touch. Geek culture in our blood, we love it so much. Geek Blood forever, we love it so much. Geek Blood, where we talk about it all, from superheroes to wrestlers. We stand tall, Ray and Kevin, the dynamic duo in sight. Geek Blood, shining bright, shining bright. Did you hear about Pluto? That's messed up, right? Geek Blood, taking you on a nostalgia flight. From movies to TV, we cover it all. Join us every week, we'll have a ball. Shuffle.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much, man. You?
Doing good. Jump right into the show this week. We got a big review we're going to review at the very end. But first, let's talk about what we watched this week. I had a finale. I'm going to briefly bring it up, as I've been bringing it up every week of the show. Ended last week, but Widow's Bay. The first season ended. It is a great show on Apple TV. You can watch all 10 episodes now, and it has been renewed for a second season. It's great thriller, comedy, drama, everything. Love story to horror and thrillers and slashers and everything. Set in a New England town, probably off the coast of Maine, as there are a lot of Stephen King-esque scenarios going on in this show. But yeah, great show. Watch that. Cape Fear. On a stride. Love this show. It is a one-season show. I did find out that out this week. It's going to be one season, so we'll probably get the end. If you've ever seen the movie from the 90s, we'll probably get that ending in the last few episodes. It's kind of going towards that way. A little bit different direction from what I remember from that movie. Maybe this is closer to the book. I'm not really sure. But, yeah. Great. This is on Apple TV as well. There's episodes every Friday if you want to watch that along with us. I started watching, and I know the new season aired, My Adventures with Superman.
I'm getting a binge, I think, when it's over.
Okay, you are. Good, because I haven't finished it. I'm halfway through season 1. I've just been too busy this week and last week. Overall, slow to get into, but now I'm halfway through season 1, and it's starting to definitely pick up.
Yes.
When Lois finds out about Clark and Superman and the whole thing, which happens very early in this show compared to other shows. But yeah, this is a great anime style. I'm not really huge on anime, but this is great way of depicting this show. You got Jimmy, you got Lois, you got Superman, and they're fighting Inner Gang in the beginning. So yeah, I cannot wait to finish this. And by the time I finish this, probably going through it slowly, we'll probably be ready to binge season 3 when we're ready. So towards the end of summer, or whenever you want to do it. Cool. The big thing we're going to talk about this week, though, in depth, the premiere of House of Dragon season 3. This was on Sunday, and you've been telling me for a while that season 3, there's a pivotal point in the beginning of the season, a battle that you thought should have happened the end of last season. But with budget restraints, they had to push it off. Which
and the sale, Warner Brothers got sold,
and the sale. Filming. Yeah. Overall, everybody's praising it for being amazing. I too thought it was amazing, but I don't think it was good. That amazing. It was good. it's confusing. Some of the show, because it's been so long between seasons, I can get very easily confused on what's going on screen.
Yes.
It's one of those shows I have to put my phone down and pay attention fully. If not, I'm lost for the whole entire episode, and I have to find myself rewinding. There's a big battle on the sea with the black guy with the white hair. He runs the whole naval ships and everything. And he's fighting on the sea, and dragons come in. And Jace, who is the older son of Rhaenyra, decides that he wants to go into the battle. Has he been in any battles before this?
No.
Right. So
none of them really have.
Battle.
This is like the first battle.
Right. So he goes into battle. He actually locks his mother, because his mother was about to fly in with her dragon, locks her away, and says, I'm going to do this myself. Goes in, untrained, doesn't know what he's doing really, and gets himself, spoiler alert, gets himself killed. And his dragon sinks to the bottom of the ocean. That was heartbreaking at the end. Great scene overall. And also the other thing, the other girl, I don't know her name, that takes sheep stealer. Rhaena. What the hell was that scene?
So sheep stealer is he's pretty much an untrained dragon. In the books, there's a character Nettles who may or may not have Targaryen blood, and they left her out of the show. And she, over the course of like months, trains sheep stealer. But when she first gets sheep stealer, same thing kind of happens. But in this battle, Nettles has sheep stealer at that point kind of trained. Of course, Rhaena is the one that didn't have a dragon. She's the youngest, so she wants to be like her older siblings and her cousins, which, of course, she was betrothed to Jace's younger brother, who died, of course, last in season 1. Yeah, season 1, he died.
Right, and her sister.
And her sister
was
married to Jace. Yes. And their kid was supposed to marry the firstborn daughter of Craig and Stark, which is why the Starks are in this war for the Dragon Queen. As we saw the old wolves show up and they say, we're here to die for the Dragon Queen.
The only reason I knew that was because of the flag on the field. That's the only reason I knew it was Starks. The big guy with the beard. The other, two things. This one I actually have a picture of. The kid who's going to be playing Link in the Legend of Zelda showed up in this season.
He's Darien.
Benjamin Ainsworth. Yeah, he plays Darien Targaryen. The other thing is we see. I just need your input of who this guy is. We see this battle, like encampment, and we see this guy coming out of a tent. Who is that? This guy who's like running this army in a tent compound. Who is that guy coming out of the tent? He's one of the Lost Brothers.
I think he's a Hightower.
Okay.
I think he's what's her name? Allison's brother. I think.
Okay.
I think. I can't guarantee it. Because that's the issue with this show is like in the original show, like you fell in love with all the characters in the first season. In this show, you like 4 of them, and everyone else is just kind of there to die, essentially, or whatever. Like you don't really care too much about a lot of the characters in this show. But I believe is it Gerald Hightower? I can't remember his first name, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know his name. I just know he showed up. He's very brooding, very menacing, and I know he'll have implications probably going forward. I just don't know who he is. So I was wondering who he was. But yeah, airs every Sunday. We'll talk about the season throughout the summer. So far, so good. Want to bring up a few movies before we get into news. First one is I saw Power Ballad with Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas. Fantastic fucking movie. Reminds me of The Wedding Singer, but it's very good. Both of them are great. The ending is amazing. At first, I didn't think it was going to be, but the last 5 minutes of this movie is pretty fucking awesome.
Nice.
4.5 out of 5 for me. A little bit of comedy, a little bit of drama. Paul Rudd is awesome in anything. He's pretty good in this too. So worth watching. And last night it came out on Prime yesterday. I watched Sheep Detective. This was out, I think Mother's Day it came out. So it's obviously Hugh Jackman. Lots of British people from you've seen in Game of Thrones, you've seen in Doctor Who. The guy in the right on the poster there, that's the new He-Man. He-Man is a Prime movie, so I'm not surprised he's in this movie. But all the sheep are voiced. It reminds me of Babe when we talked about it. It reminds me of Babe meets Knives Out. That's basically what it is for kids, though. So kids can watch it, follow along into a murder mystery, and find out who killed Hugh Jackman's character, who was a sheep herder, and all the sheeps obviously are befriended to him because he raises them. And the one sheep with the magnifying glass in her mouth, Lily, I think her name is, she's very close to him, and she tries to solve the murder and tries to give information to the humans who can't understand her. So overall, 4 out of 5. Great movie. Lots of action, lots of drama, a little bit of comedy, British humor too. So it's very, very good. This is on Prime for free if you have Amazon Prime, or if you're a subscriber. But very, very good. And at the end, we have not seen it yet. So this is like a time travel. We're going to see it later after the show, and we're going to record a reaction after. But we're going to be watching Supergirl tonight. And reviews are not that great. However, I'm not too worried. Haven't been too worried ever since I knew pretty much when the first trailer came out. I knew this was going to happen. James Gunn has said that the script has to be good in order to approve these movies. Even saying that, I'm not too worried about this movie, just because of everything that they're praising about this movie is everything I care about. With Kara, with Lobo, with Ruthie, all the acting is great. It's just the story wise. They didn't stick too much to the comic. There's little elements of the comic in there, but the story was weak. Is what they're saying. So follow along at the end of this episode. And we'll actually probably post it live later as well, a reaction to Supergirl, really quick one, but so we're not able to put too many notes together. But cannot wait. I'm actually excited still, even after hearing all the negativity. It's about 55, 57 on Rotten Tomatoes. I haven't checked it today. That's what it was last night. So doesn't bother me. I mean, Michael was very low, and Michael was an awesome movie. So critics I think are on a warpath for comic book movies to begin with, so I'm taking a lot of that with a grain of salt. But there are a lot of my personal review people that I follow that are kind of like, yeah, it's mid. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll talk about it later. But until then, let's get into, I don't even have my music ready. Let's get into the news. And it's not a news segment without the trailer roundup. Got a brand new trailer for X-Men 97 Season 2, which comes out next week. I think the first 3 episodes, maybe 2 or 3 episodes.
First 3.
Yeah, there it is. So I cannot wait for that. I love the first season. Of course, I love the original from the 90s. So cannot wait to see the continuation of that. It's one of the animated, between that and the Spider-Man series that aired a couple of years ago. These are my 2 favorite things that came out of the animation studios from Marvel so far. I liked What If, wasn't in love with it, but this and Spider-Man I really did like. So I cannot wait. We'll talk about that next week, hopefully. Also, we got a brand new trailer for Batman Nightfall, the trilogy. First part, I believe. I don't know when the first part comes out. Well, I guess I didn't have the picture of that.
I think they just say fall.
Fall, okay. Maybe I did. I think I may have mixed it up. There it is. We also got the voice actors. Who's gonna be playing Batman? Anson Mount. Of course, he was in Inhumans for Marvel. He's also in the new Star Trek show that's on Paramount. Michael Mando is playing Bane, who I fucking love. He's gonna be in the new Spider-Man playing Scorpion. Of course, he was in Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad. David Desmalchian playing the Riddler. I think he was born for that. And Pablo Schreiber. Pablo Schreiber was Master Chief in the Halo series, which I loved. He's gonna be playing Azrael. Who, if you know this story, this is the comic where Batman gets his back broken by Bane. And of course, that was done in The Dark Knight Rises. It was kind of after this comic came out, Batman and Robin came out, and Bane showed up in that, kind of in a shitty version of that. But This is an animated 3-part movie telling that stories from the mid 90s comic. And I believe it's the first part comes out July. I wish I had the date on there, July something, I think.
Oh, it does? Okay. Cool.
I think so, yeah. I think it comes out this summer. But yeah, I cannot wait for that. It's one of those comic books when I was a kid. I went into the store, I saw the comic, I believe it's 500, Batman 500, with the cover that you flip. It's got Batman on one side and Azrael on the other. I love that comic. And I picked it up, of course, back then. So cannot wait to see this show. Let's see what else I have here. I think this may be Batman Cape Crusader. Batman Cape Crusader. Coming out on July 29th. We got the brand new trailer for the second season on Prime. Love the first season. This is, of course, done by Paul Dini, who did the animated series. Is it Paul Dini? Is his name? I think so, yeah. And did the animated series from the 90s. This is not a continuation of that. It's a retelling of Batman's story in a noir setting, but even more noir than that. Very much the aesthetic and everything is very noir. But this is on Prime, second season coming out. I believe all the episodes are dropping it once again, as that happened the first season as well. But we do see a few of the new villains that are going to be a part of that, including the Joker, a brand new noir-style Joker based off the Man Who Laughs, kind of looking like that from the 1930s, which was the basis of the original Joker. Mm-hmm. So cannot wait for that. That's where that came from. A brand new movie called Hex. This is a Disney Pixar movie. Done by the people who brought you Frozen and Zootopia. And it's going to have a little bit of magic, a little bit of humor. Of course, if you know those type of movies, you pretty much know what you're going to get. Comes out November 25th. I thought it looked interesting. I may watch that. And Taika Waititi has a new movie coming out. It's called Clara and the Sun, starring Jenna Ortega and Amy Adams, where Jenna Ortega plays a robot who gets bought by a family to help them heal physically and mentally in a dystopian future. Comes out October 23rd. Looked interesting. And they buy her and they threaten to turn her into scrap and everything. So if she becomes too much of a human. So yeah, I'll watch it. I like Taika, some of his stuff. So I'll definitely watch that. And The Dink, starring Jake Johnson, who I loved in New Girl. I've loved him in a few other movies, a few things he's been in. Mary Steenburgen. Ben Stiller's in this. Ed Harris reminds me a lot of, since Ben Stiller's in it, reminds me a lot of Dodgeball, kind of mixed with pickleball. Yeah, so I don't know. It's on Apple TV. It's going to be free to watch, so I probably will watch that. Comes out July 24th. This I'm not sure about. It's called The Hawk, starring Will Ferrell. It's a hockey movie. Not a hockey movie, a golf movie. But it's like all the other Will Ferrell real sports movies he did about 20 years ago. He did a basketball one. Of course, he did Talladega Nights. Reminds me of Talladega Nights and Happy Gilmore. It looks like a Happy Gilmore ripoff right down to the DNA of this. But comes out on Netflix July 16th. I may hate watch it. I'm not sure, but I didn't want to bring up the trailer. Came out today. Brand new trailer for Stuart Fails to Save the Universe. This is the Big Bang Theory spin-off series, more of a dramatic / comedic look of that world after Big Bang Theory, with all the kind of sub-characters of that show that weren't the main stars. And he must restore reality after he breaks Sheldon and Leonard's new device that causes multiversal Armageddon. First episode comes out July 23rd. I'm not sure if the whole series airs, but trailer looks good. Doesn't look like a Big Bang Theory episode or anything, and I like pretty much all those guys that are in that show. So I'm not sure if we're getting any cameos from the big four from that show, or big five. But yeah, it comes out July 23rd on HBO Max. So watch that. Got a brand new trailer for Shrek 5. Comes out, I believe, a year from now. Of course, Zendaya joining the cast as the daughter of Shrek and Fiona. Probably in the next year, going to continue watching those movies. I know we watched the first one for the podcast. I'm going to try to watch the next three, because I don't remember much about the fourth one. And then when 5 comes out, we'll watch that. Some Shrek news today we'll talk about in the news. A brand new documentary coming out on Paramount Plus called The Real Wolf of Wall Street. Scorsese did Wolf of Wall Street about, I guess, a little bit over 10 years ago. And of course, Jordan Belfort is the key of that movie, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, was based off a real person. And he's always said that his life was more insane and actually crazier than what the movie depicted. And the documentary is going to tackle all of that with a lot of firsthand accounts of what was going on behind the scenes back then. But yeah, it's a documentary. I believe it's a movie. Oh, no, series. So yeah, huge. July 14th, just a couple weeks on Paramount Plus. So we'll probably talk about that. And finally, before we get into news, Spider-Man trailer came out. The tickets came out on Tuesday. I don't remember what day it was. But yeah, tickets are on sale now, and we got some things to talk about. I got some brand new posters there for marking when the tickets went on sale. We got brand new theater exclusive posters here. We got some great art. There's some art there. There's one that reminds me so much of Alex Ross, the one on the right there. It reminds me so much of Alex Ross to the point where I think a few hours after I saw it, it was like, oh, that's Alex Ross started posting it because he's like, yeah, that's my that's definitely my art style. I don't know if he did the art or not, but it's awesome. Overall, I'm very excited for this movie. We got some more posters here of course, we get the first look of the Hulk in the trailer. We also get the first official look of Scorpion, Michael Mando, playing the Scorpion. We got Easter eggs. We talked about this trailer. It leaked a couple weeks ago. We talked about it, but we got some more Easter eggs to talk about. Tremel Tillman's character. Tremel Tillman, if you've seen Severance, he's in that. He was in the last Mission Impossible movie. He played the guy on the submarine that helped Ethan Hunt. He's been in a few other things, but he's going to be playing William Bill Meltzer, who in the comic books is the head of damage control, but most importantly, he's a leading force behind mutant apprehension in the comics, which is another keystone to what we've been saying for a while. And what everybody's saying is Jean Grey is not only in this movie, but she's being hunted by damage control, which maybe eventually could turn into some sort of a mutant apprehension control or something, mutant control or something. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see on that. Doctor Strange, his spell, and the mutant resurgence. Wong and Strange talk about in No Way Home, talk about forgetting the forgetting spell had been used before, giving further precedence that mutants may have used that spell or a version of it to erase magically the known existence. Either Xavier could have done it or something could have happened. Maybe that explain why mutants haven't been around or haven't been known in this universe. Who knows? Wanted to bring that up. Falling into a wedding ceremony. There's a point where Spider-Man is swinging through the city. He falls into a wedding ceremony that everybody says looks like the set of the movie The Drama, which is funny because Zendaya was in that movie. But when he escapes that wedding ceremony, there's a helicopter that escapes. It says on the side, "Congrats, John and Lucy." In the comics, in the 94 animated series, Jonah Jameson, who is the son of J. Jonah Jameson, was an astronaut. He went into space, but and also I think Spider-Man 2 or 3 he gets married as well. The same thing happens. Spider-Man goes into the wedding and abruptly gets in the middle of it and creates chaos. But speculation at the wedding may have been for John Jameson. We don't know if J. Jonah is in this or not, but that would be funny. A great connection if he is, and that's his son. Considering that there is speculation that the symbiote could be a part of this. Who knows? But Ned's following the trail of Peter. We've known that from both trailers. Ned's following the trail of Peter. He's using his MIT intelligence to create Spider-Man's new tech. That has been pretty much proved in the marketing. They came out with this new Spider Tracker thing. This kind of thing where you can track where Spider-Man promotion is going to be happening. There's an app pretty much, and they pretty much confirmed that Ned creates that, and he creates a spider tracker way for Peter to track things. There's a scene in this where Jean Grey's power is jumping from person to person, and Peter through his helmet is able to track where Jean Grey is jumping or who this CD Saint character is jumping from mind to mind using this new tech in his helmet, which is Ned tech, in my opinion. But marketing already kind of proves it, but we'll wait and see when the movie comes out to actually get if that theory is true or not. Banner's inhibitor. He's got this. Bruce Banner's got this inhibitor on his wrist that creates a balance for the Hulk, so the Hulk doesn't come out. He's just Bruce Banner. Is this the first gen tech of the mutant suppression collars that are used for the X-Men? He's suppressing the Hulk. The only time I've ever seen that happen in the comics and anything was when the collars were worn in not only the 92 series, but I think they were used in the movies. Deadpool definitely did. Deadpool 2. Deadpool had that, stopped his powers. So is this the first kind of tech that creates that block of the mutant gene, or a mutant gene, or any mutation or change at all? I'm wondering if that's kind of the beginning of that. Maybe the bad guys want that technology to stop the mutants. We'll see. There's a tall skyscraper that the Hulk and Spider-Man fall from. There's also in the beginning of the first trailer, Spider-Man is on the top of a scaffolding that of a building that looks like it's being built. It's the tallest building in New York City. What is that building? Nobody knows what that building is. Speculation: could it be the new Oscorp? Maybe Roxxon. The leaked con. There's a leaked con. I don't remember what con it was. There's a scene. MJ says that she was offered a job at a corporation but didn't want to sell her soul. Is that Roxxon? Is it Oscorp? Who knows? Jean, after reading Peter's thoughts, is he going to awake MJ's memory of who Peter Parker was? Because she threatens that she's going to go take a peek into MJ's mind. So in the trailer, who knows? And the big thing about this, we see the Hulk at the end. We see Bruce Banner losing all control. We see Sadie Sink's character breaking the inhibitor, and the Hulk comes out. Are we going to see the gray Hulk? And that's the big question. We know in the trailer we see a kind of a gray Hulk. We see a green Hulk. It's kind of shadowy. We can't really tell. Where did the gray Hulk come from? Gray Hulk was the original color that Stan Lee wanted for the Hulk. It was a printing error that actually turned him green in the first issue, and then the second issue said, "Fuck it, let's just keep him green." Stan Lee originally wanted him Hulk because they wanted him to have a similarity to Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein character. No racial similarities, no nothing, just gray. And of course they used it again later in the 80s with Joe Fixit, which is a gray Hulk with a tuxedo. He's kind of a mobster like. 80s, he returned in Todd McFarlane Spider-Man run, early 90s. At the end of the 80s, early 90s, they had a team up with Spider-Man. Destin knows what he's doing, in other words, because that's right out of the comic book. That's right out of the movie, the trailer that we've seen so far. So he knows what he's doing. He's bringing comic book covers to life for sure. I'm not sure about the stories, but Man Spider, is he a part of this movie? Who knows? There's a lot of similarities between him, and a lot of people speculating it could be Venom. I don't think so. Not this soon. There's too much going on in this movie. But Venom, Man Spider, there's a lot of changing, a lot of mutating. He loses his humanity for both ways. Once Peter gets a hand on his mutations, maybe with the help of the X-Men, my theory, his humanity is questioned even further as the symbiote threatens to show up at the end of this movie. Maybe that's been my theory all along. Either that or Secret Wars, that once he gets the balance of the mutation, this movie shows him overcoming the physical transformation. Maybe the next movie will show him overcoming his mental, psychological transformation with the symbiote. But not without consequences, because the darkness is always there. It just manifests differently, and when he actually loses the Venom symbiote, we know what happens. It becomes Venom, attaches to whether it be Eddie Brock or whoever they decide to do. I cannot wait. I know him and Zendaya both are playing the Spider-Man PS5 games. Been talking about it in the press, doing promotion for this movie. So I know they're fans of it. I know they must be fans of the Venom story. So he must be chopping at the bit to do that story, knowing what the acting prowess is going to be talking about. We talked about before with Tom Holland, kind of playing the dual role. I think he's looking forward to that just by kind of looking at what he's talking about in the press. But my further speculation, first movie, it's going to deal with his physical transformation. We know that he's mutating. Second movie is going to talk about his psychological, physiological changing, mentally being taken over by a symbiote, trying to overcome that. Third movie is going to talk about, I think, his mortality and death. And the only reason I think that is because he's talking so much about leaving this character, which 10 years ago he wasn't. He said he was going to do this for the rest of his life. Now he's talking about passing the mantle to another person. Of course, Miles being one. He's talking about the kid from maybe I have it in here. He's talking about the kid from one of the things that just came out recently, taking over. I think it was one of the British shows that was on Netflix. I can't remember the name of it. Maybe I have it in here, but is the third movie going to talk about his mortality? I mean, his death. Could it be at the hands of the Green Goblin? The Kingpin, which I would fucking love to see the Kingpin in this.
Mm-hmm.
Carnage, could that be another part of the Venom saga? Could Carnage be in the second movie, third movie? Who knows? That's kind of all the notes I have. We do have some brand new popcorn buckets coming out. There's a ton of them. For some reason, this is the thing for movie theaters. They don't make the money on the tickets, but they make all their money from this. We got Spider-Man, the combo. The one that's getting the most viral look at is the spider web with the spider webbing coming out of the wrist, and it's actually got a straw coming out of it. It looks very, very strange, but a lot of those are pretty cool. But those come out next month. Brand New Day had the fourth biggest pre-sales of all time for any film. A trailer / commercial came out this week, confirmed another comic book cover, starring another villain named Ramrod, one of the B villains, C villains, not really known too much in the mainstream, but that's him there. And Owen Cooper, that's who I was talking about. He was in the show. I can't remember. It was a Netflix show, but he thinks he's awesome. He would obviously be super talented and be a next successor to kind of his idea, the next successor to Spider-Man if he ever left. And he reveals that one character in the MCU remembers Peter Parker's secret identity. Quote, no one remembers a Spider-Man as Peter Parker apart from one person. It's my speculation that it's going to be the Hulk. Also said that there is a main villain that hasn't been revealed yet. It's still very much a secret. It's like anything we've seen in one of these movies before. I'm not sure if he's talking about Tombstone. I'm not sure if he's talking about somebody that we don't even know about. He said it hasn't even been revealed yet, so maybe speculation hasn't even revealed it yet either. I don't know. But Jackal, that would be the big one, because Jackal has such a connection to the mutation that's going on in this movie. He's also dealing with trying to figure out mutations. He actually turns himself into a jackal. So I'm not sure if that'll happen in this or not. But that's the trailer. That's the movie. Tickets are on sale. We'll talk about it at the end of July. Cannot wait. Very excited. Cannot wait. Let's get into the rest of the news. Box office the last 2 weeks. Disclosure Day opened 2 weeks ago. 44 million. Kind of low, but Spielberg hasn't had a huge box office in a while. Obsession, for the fifth week, had 19 million. Also, I think it was number 3 this week as well with 14 million. So far, every single week since it's been out, except for this last week and the last 2 weeks, it has earned more money going from the week before. Obsession coming out on digital on Tuesday, so we will talk about it next week. It was supposed to come out this week, but it's just doing so well in the theater. They're just continuing keeping it in the theater, which is great because it had a short window and then started doing well. So cannot wait to see it. We'll talk about it next week. And a funny kind of trivia that I saw: Obsession beat Avengers Endgame domestically on its 25th day in theaters. In other words, Obsession made 4.2 million domestically on the 25th day in the movies. When Avenger had his 25th day in the movie Endgame, it only made 3.2 million. I thought that was kind of an interesting trivia for this movie, how great it's doing in the box office right now. Is this going to be? I don't know. It's definitely one of the biggest low budget movies that's ever done well in the theater. So, and Michael, now officially the highest grossing musical biopic of all time, surpassing Bohemian Rhapsody. Not surprised by that. If they do a sequel, I think it's going to even surpass that. So, talk about celebrity deaths. Rest in peace to Gene Shalit. At 100 years old, if you were around in the 90s, you remember that mustache. You remember him and all his puns. He was on the Today Show, I think, and he used to do movie reviews. He showed up on there talking about movies, and his puns were always a big thing back in the 90s, 80s, however long he's been around. But he's been off TV for a little while now, I think 20 years or so. But he died this week. Rest in peace to film critic Gene Shalit. Rest in peace to Davey Chase. You don't know the name, but you know her from different things. The big thing she did at first was Lilo and Stitch. She played Lilo. She did the animated voice for her, but she also played the little girl in The Ring, the U.S. version. The girl that comes out of the TV, she played her. She got into drugs. She kind of fallen out. I think she became homeless. If not homeless, she became definitely down and out. And drugs had taken a toll on her. And she died very young, 36 years old. Complications, I think, of just being on the streets and being malnourished and everything. So rest in peace to her. Hollywood taking a toll on another young actor, unfortunately. Rest in peace to Anne Shedeen. You don't know the name, but if you watched Elf in the 80s, she played Kate Tanner, the mother, the matriarch of the family on Elf. And that's her right there with the puppet Elf. She was 77 years old. She died peacefully. Rest in peace to her. And rest in peace to James Burrows, a Hollywood heavyweight. If you ever watched a sitcom in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, you always saw his name, usually at the end of the credits. He directed over 1,000 episodes. He created, I think it was Cheers he co-created. But he directed so many other episodes. He was kind of one of those guys where if you had a brand new show airing and you wanted it to do well, you would hire him to direct it. And chances are the percentage of his successes that actually aired and turned into a full series was astounding. And a lot of his shows, including Friends, Cheers, I think I have a list here. Friends, Cheers, Taxi, Frasier, Will and Grace. He started on Mary Tyler Moore's show. He did some episodes of Third Rock from the Sun. He's been everywhere. He did the when Jimmy Kimmel did the retelling of the 80s, All in the Family, a couple of years ago. He directed those. That was one of his last projects he did. So rest in peace to him. And let's get into the news. The Justice Department approved Paramount's Warner Brothers acquisition. We talked about that at the end of last episode. I'm going to bring it up again, how crazy that is. And I heard some other European regulators have also approved it as well. So there's a lot of lawsuits happening at the state level that are going to try to stop this. So it's not over, not even close to being over. And it could still kill it, or it could at least slow it down. So it could take a couple of years to pass through. But when you have Trump in your pocket, you're in Trump's pocket. It's going to be a lot easier than a lot of other scenarios. So we'll have to keep an eye on that still, and we will. Speaking of that, Fox has officially announced that it will be acquiring Roku in a $22 billion sale. I didn't think Roku was worth that much. But yeah, they're going to be combining into one. They're going to be using the streaming platform. Fox, of course, was part of Disney before they bought 20th Century Fox. They split off into their own, all their TV stations, their sports, their entertainment, all that was spin off into its own company. They're the ones that bought Roku. So I don't have a Roku. I think you do. I don't have a Roku. I use Apple TV strictly. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Pizza Hut was for years, all of our life has been owned by the parent company of PepsiCo, Yum Brands, I think. Well, Pizza Hut, of course, in the last 20 years has gone down.
How is this worth this much money?
For $2.7 billion, they were actually bought by a, what do you call those firms? Whatever those firms are called that buy up all this type of failing businesses. They actually bought them from the Yum brand, so they're not going to be part of Pepsi anymore. I'm sure they're going to still have deals with Pizza Hut has the best soda because they are a Pepsi branded restaurant. Same with KFC, same with Taco Bell. But because Taco Bell and KFC are still doing well, Pizza Hut is doing the worst. They decided to sell them off. So these brand new firms have come in and bought Pizza Hut. And they're going to try to bring back the legacy of Pizza Hut, bring back to what we remember from the 90s. Of course, the big red roofs, the red cups, the nostalgia of the 90s. We always talk about it on here, how we love that. So they're going to want to try to bring that back to the consumer to reinvigorate the Pizza Hut brand. We'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, they've been sold. And let's get into some TV shows and stuff that's going to be airing this year. Starting on July 21st, we have the brand new poster, brand new idea of what's going to be happening on season 3 of WWE Unreal. WWE Unreal tells the behind-the-scenes stories of how creative is working in WWE right now. And season 3 is all about the reign of John Cena in the last year and everything about his retirement, the behind the scenes of that, and how decisions were made for his heel turn, decisions were made to bring him back as a face, and the decision to retire at the end of the year. All of that's going to be behind the scenes this whole season. I'm also talking about brand new next generation of WWE superstars, and I think they're going to talk about Brock Lesnar's return. So yeah, cannot wait for that. Comes out July 21st on Netflix. First 2 seasons are on there. I recommend watching those. Kind of WWE's answer to Dark Side of the Ring, going behind the scenes with behind the kayfabe and everything to tell behind the scenes stories of how wrestling storylines work. So worth watching. Brand new animated series coming from the Ghostbusters universe. We talked about it last week. We got some brand new first look pictures that came out this week called Ghostbusters Night Shift. Set in New York City in 1994. All the original Ghostbusters have retired, and there's new recruits that are going to be walking the streets of New York City and find out what happens to ghosts coming back in the Big Apple. So, animated series on Netflix. Animation looks interesting. I'll keep an eye on that. And The Burrows. I've been hearing about this show. I was planning on watching it, but it was canceled by Netflix after 1 season. Netflix is known for that. The Burrows, Alfred Molina, there's a whole bunch of people in that show. But it's done by the Duffer Brothers. It's like an older version of Stranger Things, and I think that's kind of what the audience was distancing themselves from. I think maybe either they were Stranger Things out, or they just didn't want to watch a bunch of old people trying to move around like they were in Stranger Things. I don't know. But I guess the ratings weren't good enough for Netflix to keep them on, so they did cancel it after 1 season. I heard great things about the first season, so it's kind of too bad. Mm-hmm. Joining the cast of Only Murders in the Building season 6, a whole bunch of British actors, including David Tennant, including Jodie Whittaker. So we got 2 doctors on there, Jim Broadbent, Nicola Coughlan, Kathleen Hunter. There's a lot of British actors coming on. They're going to be in London. Cannot wait. I love Only Murders. I'll talk about that probably at the end of the summer. That usually comes out in the spring. So we'll see. Joining the cast of Twisted Metal season 3. I stopped watching right in the beginning of season 1, but Mark Hamill joined the cast of the Peacock series based on the video game, playing Sweet Tooth's father. Sweet Tooth is played by Samoa Joe, voiced by the guy from SNL there. So yeah, Mark Hamill joined the cast. Peacock unveiled some new images today of The Paper season 2. Coming out on Wednesday, September 9th, 2026. So coming out just a couple months, but some first look. I like the first season. Of course, I love The Office spin-off of that. So we'll talk about that. And one thing we haven't talked about this episode yet is the Knicks' victory while we were away. They won the NBA championship last week. And Ben Stiller was all over the front row filming scenes for this new documentary for A24 and HBO, a multi-part Knicks documentary following their entire history up until the NBA championship. He's filmed it all on his cell phone while he was there at the end of the season, kind of getting their comeback and everything. Ben Stiller directed it. He's going to be in charge of the documentary and everything. So I'm very excited for that because I think I was surprised how the whole United States kind of jumped on the Knicks bandwagon.
Yeah.
It's funny how that happened. I don't know if it's just the story that it was telling or what it was, but it seemed like everybody wanted the Knicks to win that. So yeah, I didn't watch except for the one game I watched. I didn't even watch the finals. They're on way too late. But yeah, that's gonna happen. Timothée Chalamet has a brand new movie coming from Illumination, a brand new animated movie with Selena Gomez called Not Alone. Something about aliens and something. I have no idea. It comes out April of next year. Interesting. A brand new Thundercats movie in the work at Warner Brothers Animation. They saw what happened with He-Man and decided, hey, let's do a Thundercats. I remember Thundercats more than I do He-Man when I was a kid. I actually had some figures. I had the purple guy action figure. But Thundercats coming out in a movie sometime soon. Interesting. I thought this was funny. First part of iconic TV characters coming out on Thundercats. TV characters coming out in commercials. First one is Bob Odenkirk returning as Saul Goodman in a new video celebrating 250 years of America. At the very end, Mike comes out and says, "Hi, I'm Mike, and I approve this message." So, yeah, great to see those characters back on the screen. And speaking of characters coming back on the screen, Mike Myers for a Verizon commercial reprised not only Dr. Evil, but everybody that was in his roundtable, including Seth Green as Scott, Rob Lowe as number 2, and Mindy Sterling as Frau Farbishina. All came back talking about brand new Sprint technology or something, who knows. But and also when this came out, somebody asked him, is Austin Powers happening? Austin Powers 4 happening? He said, quick answer, yes. Nothing else. But he's been talking about that for years. Still hasn't happened.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has a story figured out or what, but I love Austin Powers. The first 2, third one was okay. I'm interested to see how Austin Powers would be in this type of kind of be like when he came back. Yeah, it kind of be interesting because when he came back from the 60s, come back in the 90s. It's been 30 years since the last movie. It's almost 25 years at least. It's be interesting to see him come back 30 years later and see the world now after COVID and during the Trump administration and everything. See how he reacts to that. But Evil Dead Wrath. Are you caught up on all the Evil Dead, the new ones, the Evil Dead movies?
Yep.
Brand new movie coming out called Evil Dead Wrath. Going to take place in 1972, a decade before the original film. It'll look grainy and film stock from that same era from the 70s. Don't know much more about that because I'm not huge into Evil Dead. Haven't watched the new ones at all. So, a sequel to What We Do in the Shadows, the movie. Another movie is going to be in the works. I like the movie. I never watched the series. I hear the series is even better. But I like the movie. They're going to be doing a sequel. The sequel is based off of werewolves called Werewolves. Jermaine Clement, who starred in that, created that. Taika Waititi created that, has directed that. Group of werewolves led by Race Darby, who served as the antagonist of the original film. So, okay, cool. And I think trailer comes out July 13th. You got brand new posters for Tom Cruise in this movie called Digger. Don't know anything about what this is. I know it's some post-apocalyptic movie.
Yep.
Other than that, stars Tom Cruise. He's promoting it like crazy. It's supposedly a comedy. Tom Cruise hasn't done a comedy in a while, so very, very interesting. Comes out October 2nd of this year. Comic-Con is going to be a big, huge part of this promotion train. So first trailer drops on July 13th. We'll keep an eye on that. And after 20 years, somebody asks, are we there yet? Are we there? Are we done yet? No. Are we gone yet? Ice Cube, Neil Long are coming back for a third movie in the Are We There Yet trilogy, which I don't have a picture of. For some reason, they thought, hey, this seems like a good idea. It seems like a bad idea to me. So I don't know. Ice Cube, I like him. Of course, Friday movies, I like him in those. 21 Jump Street, like him in those. Are We There Yet were some of the worst movies he's done.
I never saw them.
Of course, yeah, kids movies. But yeah, I don't get it. Why he would do a third one this late after. I mean, the last one came out in 2027, so you're talking 20 years later. No idea why this is a choice, but it's a choice. Dan Trachtenberg set to direct a new animated horror comedy called Friday the 13th for Paramount Animation. Film follows a family on vacation that turns into a nightmare when Uncle Freddy accidentally kills the boogeyman and takes on his powers. It's a promo poster on the right there. It's based off a comic book on the left called Friday the 13th. So yeah, interesting. And announced today, speaking of Shrek earlier, there's going to be a spinoff officially announced called Donkey, coming out on June 30th, 2028 from DreamWorks. Eddie Murphy reprising his role as Donkey. It's going to be telling us origin story and how Donkey became Donkey. So that was announced today. And we got brand new Empire covers, the magazine Empire of the Odyssey promotion in full swing. Movie comes out in less than a month, I think. Well, yeah, less than a month. So Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway on the cover. Is going to bring a subscriber exclusive there of the ship in the ocean. Very interesting. Cannot wait to watch Troy. I'm going to probably watch that in a couple weeks, but I know Troy is kind of the end of Troy is where this movie begins. It's the story after Odysseus leaves the Battle of Troy and goes back home, and it's a journey, I think a 10-year journey back home, and all the stuff and all the battles that happen in between, and how his family is kind of corrupted in between that time. And his son played by Tom Holland. That's all I pretty much know about it. But cannot wait. Love Nolan. Love all the actors in this movie. So cannot wait. Mike. Speaking of Nolan, Michael Caine, who's in a lot of Nolan movies, is going to be doing the voice to appear in an upcoming audiobook adaptation of The Odyssey. But he's in his 90s. He's given the okay to use his voice used by an AI company, 11 Labs. He's inked the deal. I'm not sure when this is coming out, but they're going to be using his likeness and AI to create the audiobook rather than him actually recording it. So very interesting. Jim Carrey, this is crazy news. Jim Carrey in talks to return as the Grinch in a new Grinch movie, a sequel to the original that was done in 2001. I was never a huge fan of that movie, the live action one. I love the original animated. It's fine, but it's not on my Christmas list to watch. But Jim Carrey, kind of out of Hollywood. He hasn't done a movie in a while besides the Sonic movies. He hasn't done an actual drama or comedy or anything. But Ron Howard's coming back to direct the sequel. So yeah, interesting. Also, speaking of 90s nostalgia, Miss Frizzle, Magic School Bus. Watch that on PBS all the time. A live action movie starring Elizabeth Banks as Miss Frizzle is going to be coming out with the director of Detective Pikachu in charge of directing it. So interesting. I don't know if that would be my choice for Miss Frizzle. I think there's a lot of other actresses who would do better job, but whatever. If they have a vision, we'll wait and see. I'm sure it'll be okay for kids. Brand new look came out today for the Robert Eggers movie Werewolf, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson. This is him going through the woods with a whole bunch of wolves. Comes out on Christmas Day of this year. So yeah, interesting. And joining the cast of The Hunt for Gollum, the new Lord of the Rings movie coming out in 2027 in December. Anna Taylor-Joy, brand new motion poster came out of that. Her character, she's playing an elf. Kind of looks like an elf, so perfect casting in my opinion. But coming out that day as well in 2027, you got Avengers Secret Wars, the Housemaid sequel with Sydney Sweeney, and Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum. So a triple threat. Avengers probably going to take the box office, but Lord of the Rings, depending on how that movie turns out, if it looks great, that could also get a great, huge box office bump for December 17th of 2027. So keep an eye on that. I was wondering who they were going to cast as Peeves. Peeves is a character that was not in the Harry Potter movies. He's a poltergeist that lives in Hogwarts. We see some other ghosts in Hogwarts, but Peeves was always the mischievous one that we never saw in the movies. Chris Columbus did not want to put him in the original Sorcerer's Stone Chamber of Secrets, so he's been omitted from the whole series. But they are going to put him in the TV series when they do the first season in December. And Peter Serafinowicz, who has been in everything. He was the voice of Darth Maul. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's going to be doing the voice, and I'm not sure if he's doing the live action or if it's an animated or what it is, but he's going to be doing Peeves, the poltergeist from the Harry Potter books in the live series. So interesting casting. I actually like him, so I'm interested to see how this turns out. So he voiced Darth Maul. He's doing interviews talking about doing the voice of Darth Maul in Star Wars: The Phantom Menace was the biggest disappointment of his life. I have a feeling what he was talking about, this is pretty much saying that he was told by George Lucas that he was going to be the next James Earl Jones. But he only had one line in The Phantom Menace, maybe two lines in the whole movie. And it was disappointed because the role was, of course, done by Ray Park, but he was the voice of it. But he didn't really get the recognition after that. Kind of had to fight his way through Hollywood without that on his resume. Nobody really cared about that. It wasn't in it that much. But speaking of George Lucas, speaking of Star Wars, George Lucas has been cast in the Minions and Monsters in a voice role. He loves the original franchise, loves the franchise of the Minions and Despicable Me, and he wanted to be a part of it, and has a role in future films as well. That's the craziest news story of the whole week. But yeah, George Lucas is going to be a part of the Minions movie, so interesting. Speaking of Star Wars, Ann McDermott, who played Palpatine, says that George Lucas was developing a live-action Palpatine series. He actually confirmed it. It would have followed the Emperor's progress like Hitler's and his rise to power. The idea was scrapped after he sold the Star Wars rights to Disney. That would have been interesting to tell that story. It's weird. That was a weird time for Star Wars. We thought Star Wars was pretty much dead at that point. It was in George Lucas's eye. He's ready to sell it. So, a new report recently came out in the Hollywood filings revealed that Jurassic World Dominion has officially passed Star Wars: The Force Awakens as the most expensive movie ever made. Jurassic World Dominion cost $658 million. Crazy. Force Awakens cost $638 million, so it's overpassed that by $20 million. That much money for a movie is fucking ridiculous, especially Dominion. It was a piece of trash.
It was so bad.
Grand Theft Auto 6. We got the brand new poster or art for that game. Pre-sales went out last night at midnight. No trailer. I'm surprised the trailer didn't drop yesterday when the pre-order went through. But we got a brand new skyline image. I know new images have come out about it, but some big news came out of this. Number one, the price. $10 higher than the average price of a game. The lowest price for this game, if you want to play it, is $79.99. An Ultimate Edition with new vehicles, new weapons, different bases of operation comes up for $20 more and $100, $99.99. Also, if you want a physical copy of this game, you buy it in a case. You're not going to get a disc. You're going to get a digital code. There's not going to be any disc. You're just paying for paper. You might as well just buy the digital version of this. They did say today, I did read that they are going to come out with a disc version later on. Probably like I think they said within the next year, after the game drops. But pre-order came out yesterday. Game comes out in November. I believe if you order the physical version, you get the game on the 12th. It doesn't come out for like a week later, just to give you enough time to download the game. I think it's 600 gigabytes of memory you have to have.
Jesus Christ.
To download it. It's crazy, yeah. But comes out on November 20th, and you get a vintage Vice City pack if you get the pre-order bonuses. You get the look of the Vice City. You know, if you ever see Miami Vice, that type of look. You get extra outfits and hairstyles and iconic weapons from that era of the 80s. So interesting. I saw this today. Trailer came out for Jay-Z, a documentary, a 8-part documentary called Jay-Z and 8, premiering on HBO this fall. Rick Rubin's going to be interviewing Jay-Z. They're going to have footage, talk about his music, his lyrics, his life, his creative process. They've had a long history. Of course, Rubin did 99 Problems for the Black Album in 2003. Excited for that. Love Jay-Z. Love his story. Love how he creates his music. He's a very unique artist where he doesn't write on paper at all. He just does it off the top of his head. Up until the Black Album, he did write that out. But yeah, interesting. Speaking of him, Kevin, you got $1,500.
Yeah.
A vinyl collection coming out in a milk crate with all of his albums, except for the R. Kelly albums, surprisingly. All of his 13 studio solo albums coming out for $1,500. Now you're saying $1,500, 13 albums, $100 an album for just nothing, no bonus features, just albums. All you're buying is a milk crate. Kevin, give me a milk crate, give me a strap or a rope, and I will make you this. And I will buy you all the records for half the price. No, less than half the price. But yeah, this is coming out, I believe, sometime this year. I don't know when, but it comes out from everything from Reasonable Doubt all the way up to his last album that came out over 10 years ago now. So, yeah, interesting. And let's get into some swag. Play the sounder.
Swag. Stuff we all get.
Come on, son. You know that's right.
Sopranos, the complete series on 4K UHD, coming out at the end of the year, December. For $149.99, not bad for a whole series of The Sopranos in 4K. But looks great. Slipcover, big, huge case. Looks like a book and everything. So interesting. I got some Funko Pops to talk about. Speaking of Knicks champions, I got the exclusive Knicks Funko Pops, all the main players of the Knicks with the championship right in the middle of there. Interesting. And if you have a room on your bookcase, Kevin, Jason at Camp Crystal Lake, a book nook, with him standing at the front of Camp Crystal Lake with a bloody knife. So there you go. Also, because some big news at the end, I can't wait to talk about. Absolute Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman coming out in Funko form. Right there you go, with all their weapons and Superman flying and everything. Exciting. McFarlane figures coming out with some Spider-Man and Hulk figures from Brand New Day. There you go for that. Also get a new Punisher figure from McFarlane as well. There we go. And Hot Toys coming out with an Ellen Ripley from Alien figure. Looks awesome. Aliens, actually, the second movie. And I saw this figure, this statue. I thought it looked really cool. Skeletor from Masters of the Universe. Jared Leto, of course. Can't wait for that movie to come out digitally. I want to see it again. The Muppets in the Marvel news of the week. The Muppet Show 50th anniversary, I believe. And they're doing a combo with Marvel to do some comic runs of the Muppets take over the Marvel universe. A couple of covers here. We have Deadpool in a kind of a pirate setting. We get all the Marvel and Muppet characters there on the right there. Interesting choice. I know Marvel and Disney are owned by the same. They're all owned by them. So Disney. And the X-Men reboot will take huge swings. Kevin Feige just wants to take big swing and start anew, not be beholden to any of the movies that have come before. Kind of figured that Kevin Feige maybe diving deeper into what happened in the 90s too with the animated series, kind of that iconic look.
Yep.
But I don't know. I don't know where that's going to be. I'll have to wait and see. Officially joining the cast of Daredevil Born Again Season 3, Alani Young, who played Elektra in Season 2 of Daredevil on Netflix. There is behind-the-scenes picture that she is right there filming for Born Again, with a more comic-accurate look to the character than was done previously. So there you go. That's her right there filming. This happened a couple days ago. With a Brand New Day, the new trailer came out. Spider-Man 2 is getting an update on the PS5, the game. And they're going to be getting that suit from the movie showing up in that game. Comes out on July 28th. So when the movie day or two before the movie comes out. There you go. And speaking of that game, there's supposed to be a third one. There's rumors of that. There's also supposed to be a multiverse spin-off that never happened, but we did get some pictures of that this week. These started going around, and you can see in there, you can see Spider-Gwen, you can see Silk, you can see Peter Parker and Miles, of course. You can see some multiversal villains coming back from the first movie. You see Scarlet Spider there. You see Venom, and there you see some portals opened up from the multiverse. You see this big, huge monster / Sandman creature in there too. Interesting. This game never happened. I know there's supposed to be a Venom spinoff that never happened as well. I don't know why. That never happened, but I like those games. I really like them, so I don't know. And Brand New Day is officially going to have a panel at San Diego Comic-Con 1 week before the movie premieres. Probably going to be their big premiere of the movie, I would guess. I'm guessing they're probably going to screen it there. Who knows? But just having a presence at Comic-Con is exciting. Cannot wait for that. Official title for Avengers Endgame, the theatrical re-release that's happening at the end of the year, will be Avengers Endgame Encore. It's going to re-release the film. It's going to include previously unseen footage and a new end tag exclusive to theaters that are certified participants of the Infinity Vision Initiative. More information on that as well. I think there were 7,500 screens that have applied for this Infinity Vision that Disney is promoting heavily for big format screens. I'm not sure I don't know if it's IMAX, I don't know if it's RPX or what it is, but there's a lot of screens that have applied for it. They're trying to get approved by the end of the year. So when Infinity War and Endgame and the new Doomsday comes out, when that comes out in Infinity Vision, they want to promote that. They want to promote that format. So trying to get approved by the end of the year. Get into the DC news of the week. Got the brand new first shot of The Batman Part 2. Matt Reeves started filming last week, a week and a half ago. And it's him taking pictures on set. We got a brand new look of the official logo of the movie there on the bottom left. And we get a brand new look at the mustache of Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon that he posted on Instagram. So very excited. Not a huge fan of the first movie. I love the Penguin, but excited to see what he does. I'm a fan of him as a director, so I'm excited to see how he turns that franchise. It's been a while. How he turns that franchise into brand new movies. Aaron Paul has reportedly joined the cast of Clayface. I haven't seen that anywhere besides a couple places online, but yeah, interesting. I like Aaron Paul, so we'll see. Mm-hmm. James Gunn talked about the Gorilla Garage show. Is Jimmy Olsen in it? Please share with us. Somebody asked him on Threads. He said it's both a Jimmy Olsen and a Gorilla Garage show. It's one of his favorite projects, and they start filming that soon. So, yeah, it's probably a Daily Planet / Jimmy Olsen / Gorilla Grodd. So interesting. Wonder who's going to play Gorilla Grodd. That's the question of the day. And a brand new plot details on the animated dynamic duo movie, the puppet animated movie. Story follows Jason Todd and Dick Grayson as street rats who name themselves a dynamic duo. The duo is split up as Dick joins Batman while Jason joins the Red Hood gang. That's all we really know about that so far. I'm not even sure when that comes out. I don't know if it has a date or what. But and the premiere for Supergirl happened just a couple of days ago. James Gunn's on the red carpet, talked about how Supergirl has a big role in Man of Tomorrow. Millie's got a big role in that one. I feel sorry for her because she's flying around the world for Supergirl press, coming to set, shooting with me, coming back, and having to do more press. So, yeah, she's busy doing this movie, doing this Man of Tomorrow. Very exciting for her. David Edelson has met with James Gunn and Peter Safran ahead of the Warner Brothers Paramount merger. Said he's pretty open. They said he's pretty open to what we're doing. He's a big fan. He's been great with us. He's giving us kind of what we want. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that when that deal actually passes. How that actually goes into fruition. But and today they were doing a animation festival somewhere. I'm not sure. Is it France? Not sure where they are. And they announced new details on a bunch of animated shows and announced some new ones. First, we'll talk about Creature Commando Season 2. They showed a first look image of the new team. Joining the team is King Shark, Nosferatu, Callus. I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is? I have no idea who that is. No. G.I. Robot is going to have a really strong emotional character arc this season. Nosferatu's final design is expired by the pop artist Charlie XCX. The Bride is now leading the team. Nosferatu's relationship with the Bride is contentious and the opposite of a relationship she had with Nina. And we got some brand new details on the adventures with Green Lantern. Showed us set in L.A. At a place called Hal Jordan Memorial High. Characters like Kyle Rayner, Alex DeWitt, Nikki Jones, Thomas Rowe will all be important part of her high school life. Jessica's the main character, Jessica Cruz. She trains in the temple to understand what it means to be a Green Lantern. Jessica Cruz has to sing the oath to transform. The only character that has been confirmed, the voice character of this, is the character who did the voice of Moana in the animated series. And she's doing the voice of Jessica Cruz. And the show will also apparently show red and yellow lanterns. So other than that, don't know anything else about it. Don't even know really what it is. So my adventures with Green Lantern. And a new Starfire animated series. Starfire leads a team of alien girls, which consists of Crush, Fern, Amethyst, and the Vega Galaxy. Did a short clip of Starfire versus Blackfire was shown. Lobo, Gotham City, and the Tanagarians will be all making appearance. So yeah, featured large title cards will be featured to display new location, creatures, and characters similar to the Suicide Squad. It's been described as an 11-minute kids show, so probably not for us. But this is probably going to be for us. New details for the Mr. Miracle series were revealed at this festival today. They showed brand new concept art of Scott Free, Mr. Miracle, Big Barda, Orion, Highfather, Granny Goodness, and Darkseid. Actors for this series have all been cast, and they're going to be portraying their characters in live action as well. So that's interesting that Darkseid, of course, we know, big, huge part of the DC universe. Interesting to see who's going to be doing the voice of that character. Who's going to be doing him in live action as well. Animation closely resembles the comics art style, nearly 1-to-1. And Tom King describes Scott Free as a son of God raised by the devil. And it's going to be set in the DCU. So this is part of the DCU, James Gunn's universe he created with Superman, Man of Tomorrow, Supergirl. So interesting. And they're going to be jumping to live action. Exciting. But the big news today was these brand new animated series coming out. First one we'll talk about is Joker anime. It's an anime series in the works. Series follows the Joker as he launches a ruthless crusade through Gotham's underworld to discover Batman's killer. Done by the guys who did War of the Rohan, the animated anime Lord of the Rings film that came out last year. But this is going to be a Joker series. The next thing we're going to talk about is Crypto. Crypto is going to be getting his own animated series, follows Crypto as he tags along with a gang of misfit criminal wannabes who live down the block. Going to be done by the writer of SpongeBob SquarePants, and he's going to be a showrunner of this as well. So it's going to be a kid's show. But the big thing we need to talk about is Absolute Batman. Getting a series, not only getting a series, but the showrunner for this is going to be Scott Snyder, who did the comic book. Everybody, I think it's the most exciting comic book news I think that's come out probably in the last few years. Everybody's super excited for this. It's a reinvigorated story of telling Batman's story, not sticking to the norm of Batman's lore. So brand new lore to that series. Animated, coming out DC Studios. So cannot wait for that. And that's it for the news. And when we come back, if you're watching this on YouTube, we will give our Supergirl review. Until then, we will talk to you then. Peace.
We're the Geek Blurb crew, here to enlighten you, talking all things geeky, from movies to wrestling to our podcast is the place where you wanna be for all the latest news and nostalgia from the 80s and 90s. We review comic book flicks and sci-fi hits, riding the wave of action movies with all the cool bits. From Iron Man to Star Wars, we cover it all. And when it comes to wrestling, we never drop the ball. Geek Blurb, we're the kings of the nerds, rating movies and pineapples, our opinions never blurred. Join us each week for a geeky chat with the latest news and a dose of nostalgia that. So if you're a fan of the comic book craze, or a lover of sci-fi and all its maze, tune in to Geek Blurb, we're here to entertain, bringing you the best in geekdom, it's our domain.